Hello, everyone. Today we're going to be reviewing Sempiternal, Bring Me the Horizon's third or fourth album. It came out
I
in
think it's their
2015.
fifth. I think it's their fifth. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not. We don't know. Okay. I just tried to do
Mm-hmm.
some reading on Wikipedia
Mm-hmm.
to see what Wikipedia said about it. I think it's like their fifth album, but I could be wrong on that. I
Yeah.
don't know. Third, fourth, fifth, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So
So I do know they switched up from. I mean, was it just deathcore?
I'm pretty
You
sure.
know,
Yeah, it was like
just pretty straight up deathcore.
deathcore, metalcore, basically
Mm-hmm.
like fusing heavier metal with
Mm-hmm.
hardcore. So
Yeah. I know I've heard songs, but I can't think of them specifically off the top of my head.
yeah, this album is really outside of both of our wheelhouses. If you think about it, I mean, am I wrong?
I
Did you ever listen to a lot of metalcore or like?
My introduction to metal, like my cousin showed me like stuff. Would show me like metalcore and metalcore adjacent
Oh,
things,
okay.
like A Day to Remember. So that was like my early start, but that was like select songs. And
Yeah,
yeah.
you weren't listening to like full projects or anything like that. It was just kind of like random songs.
Yeah.
Yeah. See this, but I feel like we hit upon a good one though.
Yeah.
Because when we were trying to figure out what album to do this week, we did a little bit of research and we had a list of all these classic metalcore albums, and this one was one of the ones that was on there.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just said, let's just do this one because I've heard that name before. Bring Me the Horizon. I know they're pretty big, but I've never like delved into the music. And then lo and behold, I start listening to it, and the first song, "Can You Feel My Heart," I had heard before on a reaction video from Maryland Station Music. Shout out to you guys.
Mm-hmm.
They did a reaction to the video for "Can You Feel My Heart," and I really liked it. Actually, I remember liking it when I first heard it. So
Yeah. I remember, I think of like memes whenever I see that. Just like something that's not dramatic, but they make it look dramatic with the chorus.
yeah, yeah, that song. I have to say, I think that's the best song on the album. But I can't. Some songs I can listen to over and over and over again on repeat.
Mm-hmm.
That one kind of gets old after a while because it's so like built the way the song is structured. It's so built around that synth lead,
Mm-hmm.
that EDM inspired beat.
Mm-hmm.
And the guitars are they're there. They kind of give the song that body, and the music feels like it's full when those
Mm-hmm.
guitar chords come in.
Mm-hmm.
But there's not any like technical riffage going on.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a solo. So like I said, it's outside of my wheelhouse. But I was trying to give the music the benefit of the doubt. But I do really like that song. But I did write down the lyrics sounded like somebody definitely dealing with emotional problems, maybe depression or bipolar.
Yeah.
So, but what did you think about the song?
Um. So, well, I kind of had to get over, not like about, but like I said, memes. So I was kind of like, things like the you feel my but like once I got over that, it's like it's really catchy. I actually, given the amount of electronic stuff throughout the entire album,
Yeah.
I wish more of it had a little bit more of that what am I thinking, that the what's a catchy hook, a hook.
Yeah.
I wish they had more like that. um yeah, as far as this song goes, like the verses, I can appreciate the emotional intensity. I like his vocals, but I don't know, it doesn't resonate with me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm depressed, and I'm not like, and I feel broken, but
You're not like,
I'm
this
still
song
not like,
describes me.
yeah, no,
You don't feel that way.
yeah. But
Yeah.
everyone's gonna have their own experience.
I definitely think it's the best. Like I've already said, I think it's the best song on the record. But
Mm-hmm.
I just I looked at the streaming numbers
Mm-hmm.
for their top songs. This song, "Can You Feel My Heart," has over 300 million streams on Spotify. Their next highest song,
Yeah.
I didn't even know what album it was from.
Yeah.
It's like 30 million. So this is like their like if they were like, what's like an iconic song from like a one-hit wonder? Can you even think of one right
Or
now?
like I almost feel like not even a one-hit wonder, but just like they have one song that makes them seem like one-hit wonders.
Yeah. No, this is like their Enter Sandman, basically.
Yeah.
That's what it is, man. And that's cool, but I don't know, man. It's gonna take some time for me to get used to the EDM inspired beat and just the texture of the vocals. The vocals. See, the thing about it is that I don't really like that when the vocals get a little bit shouty. Do you know what I mean when I say shouty? Versus just like straight edge, like growling.
Like whenever he's like, "Can you feel the silence?"
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's hard for me to get over that because it sounds a little. I'm not trying to insult the band, but it sounds a little bit adolescent to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like versus
it's
like we just got off Blackwater Park, and that whole album is just like the deepest fucking growls that you can ask for. So it doesn't even sound human.
Yeah.
That's what I like. I want some more stuff like that. So that's a bias that I have.
Yeah.
But yeah, go ahead.
Well, I kind of like it. Well, lately I've been listening to like Pierce the Veil's cover of "Don't Fear the Reaper," and dude, his voice it seems so high, and even like whenever he hits the verse, it's like so like girly. Like he's like, "Seasons don't fear the reaper."
No way, dude. Really?
But it's good, and I like that kind of. I can enjoy that whine, like almost whiny, like. Aah!
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's like an emotional release. But
I guess if you could tap into the emotions that are being conveyed,
yeah,
and you can relate to it, your chances of liking it are going to go way up.
That's true. Yeah.
That's what I feel like. So if you can do that, then more power to you.
Mm-hmm.
I just kind of struggle with that sometimes.
It was so consistent throughout the whole album that how bold his voice is and how like it's like he sticks with that screaming talking kind of thing for so much of it, and I think maybe I get a little tired of it. He throws in a little bit of clean vocals, but I mean, yeah, I'd wish he'd switch it up, going cleaner more or harsher more, or just like, I don't know, switching up the dynamic just a little more, because what he's doing sounds really good, but I think he stays a little too close to one spot.
Yeah, it's interesting because like he has a decent singing voice. Like there are a few moments on the album where he just is singing clean. I wish I would have written down what songs they were, but I remember distinctly like listening to it and being like, he can actually sing. But with him, there's this gradual gradient between like his singing voice versus his growling. And there's all of these different textures in between that he's showing off. Whereas with other bands that have clean vocals and growling, it's more of a direct, sharp cutoff. It's like, now we're doing the singing, now we're going to transition to the growling.
Yeah.
And there's with him, it's like, you don't really know, like, there's so much in the middle between those two. Like where he's sort of carrying a tune, but he's also growling at the same time. Or maybe he's doing the shouty metalcore thing. And it's all mixed in there in the middle there, so somehow. But I think he's a good vocalist.
I think he's really good. I mean, it's pretty powerful. I mean, the heart is. I mean, we've been talking about that song a lot. The other
another song I wanted to bring up was the song "Sleepwalking." This one is similar to "Can You Feel My Heart" in that it has another heavy electronic sample that kind of drives the track, but it's got a really catchy chorus that I liked a lot. It's got a good riff, and then what caught me was this concept of sleepwalking. Like, that's such a young man's problem in many ways, because when you're young, you don't really have as much direction. like outside of what your parents give you, and like what you the codes of conduct that are being imposed by society on you, and you're sort of like following the rules for like your first 18 years of life. Then you leave the house, you get to start making some of your own decisions. But when that happens, that transition happens, a lot of youths feel somewhat lost because they don't know what they want out of life yet. They don't know what their standards are. They don't know what their boundaries are. They don't really know who they are yet. So they're kind of like, it's kind of like sleepwalking in a way. It's like, I wrote down sleepwalking, no direction. You know, when you're sleepwalking, you don't really know where you're going. You're kind of blindly walking.
Yeah.
And I think that may also go hand in hand with some of the more mental health issues and the emotional issues as well. But to me, it just spoke to a really like young adults kind of cry for help, like, hey, I need some direction in my life, kind of thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Shadow Moses is on my playlist. I talked to you about this one. I thought those riffs in that song were fucking awesome.
Yeah, that probably sounds like more of their earlier stuff. You know what? I think I read something. I was telling you that was the single. I was on Genius, and I think they wanted to do that song during a set to transition from some of their older shit to their newer shit.
Yeah.
And which, I mean, I think makes sense, and that's probably why we liked it.
Yeah.
A lot, because it's a little, it's a heavier.
It sounds like all the older shit that I haven't listened to yet.
yeah, right. But the heaviness of it, and like the breakdown is like, I feel like that's the biggest breakdown in the whole album.
Yeah, it's also the first time that the concept of Sempiternal is introduced in the lyrics on the album. So the whole rest, I mean, all these other tracks, the first 5 tracks, he never actually says that word. And this one, he repeats it a few times. So,
yeah.
I don't know. I feel like lyrically, overall, this album could have been a lot more of an exploration of that concept. You know, it seems like somewhat of a... like it kind of came out of nowhere. It's like, why... You know, a lot of these songs are about being a broken person. A person that's experienced trauma and is going through a lot of pain and feels overwhelmed by their emotions and has had bad relationships, stuff like that. And then you introduce this concept of like eternity and everlastingness. Like where does that play into the general lyrical themes of the album is what I'm asking.
Yeah, well, I mean, and I could see that, like, I feel like it ties in with the fact, you have to assume, though. You have to know that depression and, like, going through that time in your life, it feels sempiternal.
Yeah.
And I think, like, if you've sort of been there, like, I feel like that's kind of where I'm at, you know, sleepwalking. I don't know where I'm going.
Yeah. I'm 31 and I still don't know where I'm going, so.
But it would have been cool, I mean, to get, like, more blatant, I guess, reference to how, like, everlasting it feels, like how it's never gonna end.
Well, one thing I will say, like you said, it's never gonna end, is that a lot of these mental health problems are chronic problems.
Yeah.
So, you know, they keep coming up, and instead of like defeating or overcoming them, you really just try to manage them as best you can. And you try to function as best you can with the problems.
Yeah.
And try to keep the symptoms at bay. You know, that's really the design behind medication, doctor's visits, therapy, all that stuff. Is just trying to keep you out of the hospital, essentially.
Yeah.
And keep you functioning. So, in that sense, I can see where the eternity aspect comes into it. As far as like it being a chronic condition that you can never get out of. But at the same token, though, I mean, if like after you're dead, you're not going to have any of these problems.
Yeah.
So, you know, I don't think, to me, I would have named the album, I don't know what I would have named it. I would have named it something else. I think, I don't really see how the name of the album ties into the lyrical concept of the record, but maybe you Bring Me the Horizon fans, please educate me. Give me some extra information on that, okay? Let's see. So these were just the songs I highlighted. Can You Feel My Heart, Sleepwalking, Shadow Moses. I want to talk about Antivist before. Or like Antivist again. Cool. It's a cool lyrical concept of being an antivist, so like an anti-activist. And we already kind of talked about what that is. But yeah, I kind of just feel like this was kind of ahead of its time in the sense of addressing woke culture and everybody feeling like they have the antidote of change that's going to make society and the world better.
Right.
But really, it's just a lot of hot air. They're just talking and they're not actually doing anything to change anything. Even if they are doing actions, it's like futile, right? It doesn't like make a difference.
Right.
And but at the same time, they think they're better than you.
Right.
Because they're like, I actually care about the issues.
And they're like,
this person doesn't care.
I mean, no, literally. I mean, like, stuff like how like recycling and just like where's that shit going? Is it actually getting recycled? And people preach this, and it's all like performative activism, and no one actually does anything.
But I like it because he's sticking a middle finger up to all those types, the holier than thou, I call them the holier than thou types. They're like, you really shouldn't throw that cigarette butt on the ground. That's bad for the environment. It's like, well, you're hurting the environment too in like a million different ways because you're a living person. So fuck you.
Yeah.
Get off my back. Don't tell me what to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this was just a cool song. There was a cool breakdown. A lot of like really genty guitar riffs on this record too. Did you pick up on that at all when you were listening to it?
Yeah, I
sounded
feel like
a little bit like proto gent.
Whenever I was listening for guitar, I feel like it was either like big chords or it was like some some genty shit.
Yeah. I don't know, man. The description of this album that I read did not really do it much justice. Because I did see the EDM inspiration in here, but I saw a lot of nu metal in here. I saw a lot of gent, like proggy guitar riffs in here. A lot of stuff that wasn't mentioned in the description. So, but I have to say, I guess my one, and we've already touched on this, so maybe I'm beating a dead horse, but my one criticism of the record is that it's very straightforward. The song structures are very formulaic. Every song sounds the same pretty much. They all tap out at about 3.5 to 4 minutes. It's just like pre-packaged like metal. It's like, here, take your pill, take your dose of Bring Me the Horizon and see if it gives you a dopamine hit,
Yeah.
It's just like, it's not really like, one of my favorite genres is progressive music, and progressive music is a lot more adventurous, and like you might have an album that's 45 minutes long and there's 2 tracks, or you may have tracks like a lot of the more avant-garde stuff. The tracks will be like 30 seconds, but there'll be like 45 of them, and each 30-second snippet is like a different idea.
Yeah,
and it's like a total mind fuck. I like stuff. I kind of like to play at the extremes. I like stuff that's gonna make my head spin. And this was kind of like going to Chipotle. Like, it's good, but it's corporate trash at the same time.
Well, I'm sure what was I saying? Like, so last time we talked about Blackwater Park.
Yeah.
And that one's like, there's like no chorus.
We couldn't have been more.
And now this one
like
has like
antipodal with our choices.
Yeah, like, at least 40% of the song is the chorus.
Yeah, we're gonna do fucking White, and then we're gonna do Jet Black. Yeah. We're gonna have like 2. Yeah, so we're all over the place with this channel, but
yeah, I do think that juxtaposition actually was part of the reason that the more formulaic structure was so jarring to me.
Yeah.
Because, and then some of them, like, with this, with the choruses and the soaring, like, I don't know, like, break, bah, break, bah, break. Like, I feel like I need to be in a stadium. Like, I'm in a stadium, like, with a bunch of people. And so if I'm not in, I'm not in the mood for that right now. So I'm like, I'm kind of bored listening to this epic chorus while I'm just like, and that's,
driving,
that's me, you know, if I was a different person, I'd probably feel like I was in that crowd in the car.
No, will you agree, though, that this music would do great in a stadium, though?
Oh, yeah, no,
like,
I thought, like...
I could see this album really getting people lit. Like,
that's whenever I enjoyed...
environment.
That was, like, some of the highlights of my listening experience was whenever I was kind of able to immerse myself and be like, you know, this is epic.
Because there are so many anthemic choruses all over this thing, and there's some good songs here, but I think it's more, how do I want to put this? It's music that's more, well, it's more commercial, you know, and that's not always a bad thing in metal. I feel like especially in the metal elitist communities. Kind of where I come from in my family, there's always kind of a shunning of commercial music.
Yeah.
It's like, this is white bread, you know, this isn't real art.
Yeah.
You know, if you want real art, you got to go to the underground, right?
Yeah,
you got to find underground artists that are like doing all this crazy stuff.
Yeah, like Slayer and Megadeth.
Right, yeah. So there's a little bit of hypocrisy in there too, but yeah, it's just that this is kind of like not really what I'm used to, but I did enjoy it more than I thought I was going to. So the only other critique I have of it really is again with the lyrical themes. So almost every song here, like we've said, is about him being this fragile, broken, powerless individual, and sort of, you know, bemoaning his fractured emotional self, and how he, you know, either isn't worthy of love, has a hard time receiving love, giving love, how he's lost, how everything's fucked, you know, and this whole thing, and it keeps coming up. And after, you know, it's cool for a few tracks, but after like 10 or 12 tracks of the same lyrical theme, you're like, dude, get over it, man. Like let's move on to something else, you know? I just got really bored. I got really bored with that lyrical approach over the course of this record. And then with the final song, Deathbeds, like, you're thinking this is the closer of the record. This is like their final statement of the album. This is what they want to leave you with. Well, and it's a song about unrequited love. So maybe the only woman in his life that he wants. And he's stuck on her, and then he imagines that she'll be his final deathbed contemplation. Yeah. Like, when he's about to fade out of this reality and go into the next, he'll be thinking of her, right? It's like, where did that fucking come from? Yeah, you haven't mentioned her in the rest of this fucking record. You haven't mentioned this person. Who is this person? Like, what the fuck is she the root of your emotional problems? I don't know, man. I was really thrown by that, and plus it wasn't really a metal song at all. I don't know what you would call it, but
that's
what I was really disappointed by that.
I was like, that made me think of the song "Backyards" by Monsters and Men. Okay, consider this, though. This is the expanded edition that we were listening to, because that's what's on Spotify. Yeah. Hospital for Souls is the original final track.
Oh, okay. So that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense, because Hospital of Souls is more about how, like, not only is he broken and a patient, but we all are, you know, so he kind of like brings it full circle there, and shows essentially that it's like a part of the human condition to be the way he is, and I feel like that's a much deeper, more mature way of looking at it, you know, because there's a sense of like, I'm special, you know, whenever you experience deep trauma, there's a trap that you can fall into where you're like, my pain is worse than everybody else's pain.
I mean, because that's how it
You
literally
know?
feels.
Yeah, that's how it feels, yeah. And you're like, nobody knows what I'm going through. I'm special, all these things. And in that, on that song, Hospital for Souls, he actually said, no, you know, this is something that we all deal with to varying degrees. But yeah, I thought that was cool. So
yeah. Well, I mean, so I don't know. I like to do a little score. If I had to, I'm making myself.
yeah, I'm really putting a gun to your head.
Yeah, right. It's like gun to my head. I'd give it. I don't know. Maybe probably like a 7, personally.
Yeah,
because it
gonna
sounds
give it a 7.
good. The production is good. It just. I can't say it's bad. You know, giving it a 6 feels unnecessarily rude. Like not but like.
Hey man, I added 2 of these songs to my personal Spotify playlist. Mm-hmm. So that's a big freaking deal.
Yeah.
I don't have any songs from Blackwater Park on that list, not yet. I don't even have any Opeth on that list. Damn. These are just songs that I think are bangers that I listen to when I'm in the car, mm-hmm. when I'm partying, you know, when I'm doing whatever. So yeah. That was a success. This album was a success for me. Mm-hmm. But I'd also give it about a 7.
Cool.
So.
All right. Like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you want to see in the future. Let us know any. Never mind.
Hey, thanks for coming. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Goblin Town. We will see you guys in the next episode. Leave your suggestions for what you want us to do down in the comments section. Peace, guys.